Hello again. Yesterday in the daily message, I shared with you Emily Cady's thoughts of the secret place of the Most High. She wrote that it's a place of meeting between the Christ at the center of your being and your consciousness. So today I'm going to share with you her next chapter, which is her thoughts on finding the secret place. She writes that all the steps that we're taking by meditation, keeping our thoughts on the Spirit within us, speaking words of truth, and striving to manifest as much of the light that we can, which we've already received, are rapidly taking us to the time when we shall have consciously the perfect mind of Christ, with all the love and beauty and health and power which that implies. Cady writes, "Know once and forever that you are not seeking God, but that God is seeking you. You need not worry, you need not be anxious, you need not strive, only let it. Learn how to let it." So in some way, we have to learn how to wait. We have to learn how to wait upon God, our source, to actually reveal the intensity of this truth inside of each and one of us individually and perfectly. The light that we want is not something that God has to give. It is God itself. God does not give us life or love as a thing. God is life and light and love. So we want more of it in our consciousness. No matter what other name you give it, we want more of Source as us. We hear a great deal about sitting in the silence, and Cady writes, "Learn first how to commune alone with the Creator of the universe, who is all companionship." Sitting in the silence is not merely a sort of lazy drifting. It's a passive but a definite waiting upon God. When you want to do this, take a time when you can for a little while, lay off everything of the world, and begin your silence by lifting up your heart in prayer to the source of your being. You could begin your time by saying, "Let your will be done in me." And then you could go on to say, "Your will is being done in me now." You could start by saying, "Let your life flow through me." Then you could say, "God flows through me as life and peace and power." Because while you're concentrating your thoughts on God, your mind becomes focused only on God, which is the source of all your good. And it stops taking you to other places, which our minds can do. As your body begins to settle in and become more relaxed, you can then take whatever statements you're making and take them deeper into yourself. So instead of just saying them in your mind, you can actually begin to feel them coming from your heart. God is right here within you. You don't have to reach outside of yourself to some God out there. Just keep your attention on your heart. God is in you, and you can even imagine that God is sitting in your heart if you need to begin this exercise. While waiting upon God, Cady writes, we should, as much as possible, relax ourselves both mentally and physically. She says, first, withdraw ourselves bodily and mentally from the outside world by turning our thoughts within. You can say, "You abide in me, God. You are alive in me now. You are all power. You are all abundance. You are all health." Whatever works for you or whatever it is that you desire at that moment. You can even say, "You now radiate yourself from the center of my being to the world as the fullness of my desire." And then be still, absolutely still. Relax every part of your being and believe at your core that it's being done right at that moment. The divine substance does flow in at the center and out to the visible world every time you sit and concentrate on it. You don't even have to think about it. If you find your mind wandering, bring it back. You could do that by saying, it's already being done. You are working in and through me. I am receiving that which I desire. So just be still and know that the very thing you want is flowing in and will come into manifestation at its right and perfect time. The next step is to go even beyond this and speak words of gratitude and thanksgiving to this inner presence as if it's already been done. There's something about the act of gratitude and thanksgiving that seems to relax our human mind and get it more into that feeling of expectancy. Even if you're not conscious of having received anything, just continue giving thanks that while you waited, you are receiving on some level. After a time, you're actually going to be giving deep thanks and gratitude because you see it manifest around you. Katie writes that we could, if our minds begin to wander, say things like, I'm now being renewed according to the highest thought of me. You are radiating your very self throughout my entire being, making me like yourself. Just be still and know that the Christ in you is working. Zechariah 4:6 states, not by might, not by power, but by my Spirit do I work, says God Almighty. So while you're waiting, the Christ in you will and is doing marvelous work inside of you and making incredible changes. There will come a time when you have a new consciousness of serenity and quiet, of feeling that something has been done, that some new power to overcome has come inside of you. Katie writes, you will be able to say, I and the Father are one, with a whole new meaning, a new sense of reality that will make you feel very still. And that all of the hard things then become easy. The troublesome things, she says, no longer have power over you to worry. The people and things of the world lose all their power to annoy you. Wouldn't that be nice? Why? Because for a time we see as he sees. We do not have to deny what's going on in the world, but we know in that moment that it is nothing at all. We no longer affirm the good from a sense of duty, but with delight and spontaneity, she says, because we cannot help it. It is revealed to us as good, and faith has become reality. So this place within where the Christ of you and your consciousness meet, and where you come to know the Christ as you, comes to anyone and everyone who wants it. Katie writes that to have this meeting of these different forces in you, you must first make the commitment to sit in the silence each and every day. And then second, to stay in that space. Not to just go into it and sit for 5 minutes and get up and go do your whatever it is you're doing, but to sit in it for a longer and longer period of time. To abide in it is what she writes. To just sit and be enveloped by that love, that light, that oneness. That the only space that can bring you all the good that you desire. So plan to spend time, more time, each and every day, several times a day if possible, in that space of communion with God, with Source, with the one of all. So I leave you with these words of wisdom that Emily Cady wrote over 130 years ago. And you know what? They're still relevant today. So my wish is we take this time that we've been gifted and sit in the silence of our own being, waiting for that moment when the Christ in each of us will make itself known to us and bring each and every one of us all the joy, peace, harmony, love, and abundance that we desire and wish for. Have a beautiful, beautiful day, everyone. Much love. God bless.